What the hell? Let's have a conversation. Welcome back to the conversation. I'm your host, Marquise, and with me today is songwriter, saxophonist. If I mess this up, let me know. Songwriter, saxophonist, national recording artist, and let's not forget about entrepreneur. That's right. That's right. That's right. Let's get it in there. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Derwin Friday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Watson. Appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And, first off, I want to say thank you for taking the time out. We had some challenges, but we got it. We did. We got there. We missed each other. Two vessels passing in the night, brother. That's it, man. So close, but so far away. But no, I appreciate your patience with me, man. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Man, things happen, man. And we just got to work together to get it complete.
That's it,
man. So before I get started, man, we encourage people to actually, right now as we're speaking, you can't see it, but I can see it. Your website address is like right below you. It's like in the middle of the screen. But we encourage people as the show goes on to actually go ahead and we're going to talk about some things, but there's some things we might not get.
Right.
And Mr. Friday has a lot going on for him right now. So you might want to go in there and find out some things. Dude, you're doing the parallel thing. And I'll tell you about that. And you're working it. Okay. So, as always, before we kick this thing off, tell my people who you are, where you're from, and how this got started.
All right. Well, my name is Derwin Friday. I go by D Friday on stage. A lot of my friends call me D Friday on sax. I am a saxophone player from Charlotte, North Carolina, living right near Charlotte right now, right outside of Charlotte. Lovely city. If you ever want to come visit, come hang out. We got some great food. But yeah, it's a great spot. I started playing sax, man, probably when I was like 12 years old. I originally wanted to be a guitar player, which is a funny story. Yeah, I just sucked at it. I was really bad at it. And I'm one of those cats that, like, if I'm not good at something naturally, I tend to kind of stay away from it. So I went from piano to drums to guitar and ended up playing saxophone somehow. So I remember how. I got this one uncle. Everybody got that one uncle that's just the coolest. Got the coolest dude in the world. He drove a 1979 Corvair. He salt and pepper, alligator shoes, the whole nine. And one day he was here for a visit, and he handed me this tape of this cat named David Sanborn. And I had never heard anything like that.
Oh yeah.
I was like 9, 10 at the time.
Uh-huh.
And he handed me this tape, and it was David Sanborn on one side. The A side was David Sanborn. The B side was Grover Washington Jr.
Oh.
So he handed me this tape, and I think I played that thing literally till it fell apart. And
pop the tape.
Pop the tape and everything. When the little strip in the middle starts to wear out.
Starts cranking up.
Yeah, it started cranking up. Man, the struggle was real back then. The TDK just couldn't hold up to the wear and tear. But after that, saxophone was my thing, man. So.
You must be looking at my sheet right here. I got a cheat sheet, and the people at home know I got a cheat sheet because I try to get at you. And so I was going to ask you why the saxophone, but you already broke that down for me, right?
Yeah. It was a natural fit for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I feel like if you put enough instruments in any kid's hand, eventually he'll gravitate towards one. That's just, that's why I'm a big proponent of like education and early music education in schools and stuff. Because if you give them enough options, they'll gravitate towards one. And you never know, that might be the thing that keeps them out of trouble or whatever, so forth and so on. So I gravitated towards saxophone.
Wow.
And it's just kind of stopped.
Yo, I agree with you. You put something in the hand, keeps them out of trouble, keeps them preoccupied. Because what do they say? Idle mind is the devil's playground.
To this day.
That's never gonna.
To this day.
It's never gonna go away. So, hey, man, before we get really going into this, man, tell my people where they can find your music.
So pretty much on all streaming platforms at this point. So I know I'm on Spotify and Apple Music and all of the other streaming platforms. If you'd like to go by my website and see what else I got going on, it's dfridaymusic.com.
It's coming
very,
there.
Very, very, very. I try to keep it as simple as possible because my name is Derwin. and people, or if you're from the South, it's Derwin. So don't ask me how I ended up with an Old English name. How a black kid in the South ended up with an Old English name.
You know, that did cross my mind for a second.
Yeah,
I was like, that's an English name. So
it is. It's Old English. It's Old English derivative of a Hebrew name. So
okay.
Yeah, so it's don't ask, man. It's like I guess it was better than like Gretchen or something, but that's what I ended. So I just try to keep it real simple. D Friday, because everybody calls me D. My last name really is Friday. When people are gonna be like, "Is your last name really Friday?" I promise you, that's my God-given surname. Yeah, look it up. There's a bunch of us down here in North Carolina. So
let's talk about musical inspirations, man. I know this is such a cliche for artists, man, but I heard the single. We're gonna get to it, and then when I listen to it, man, I'm gonna use some cliche terms. Yo, the thing is fire. It's smooth. It's buttery.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, okay, that's one of the questions. I said, I really hate to ask him this question because that just seems like it's a cliche type thing because you hear everybody interview. But I gotta ask you, man, because I was like, did you just throw it at me, man, and I'll follow up.
So first of all, let me respond with this. Good artists borrow, great artists steal. So, and I'm a true believer of that. So when it comes to inspiration, like there are 1,000 people that I've probably listened to. My musical taste is very, very eclectic. And when I say like the last concert I went to, me and my wife, we just ended up at a James Taylor concert.
Nice.
James Taylor is, in my opinion, one of the top 3 songwriters.
Got him up there, my
generation. Top 3. Yeah. He got to be top. So, so everything from, like I said, I wanted to be a guitar player at one point because I was really, really into, I like heavy metal as well. So my first concert was a Van Halen concert. Everything from, from there to, like I said, Grover Washington Jr. and David Sanborn. David Sanborn is who I patterned my sound after for a long period of time. But what I encourage musicians to do is if you got a person that you really like and you really enjoy their sound or you want to play them or whatever, don't just stop at that person. See who their influences were. So if you go, so if you like a particular cat, go back and be like, well, who was he listening to? Right. And you can literally follow that lineage back to somewhere overseas, 9 out of 10, of some cat that was doing something before it came, to America or whatever. So, that when you say influences, that well runs deep. There's just so many things that I like to listen to on a regular basis. Depends on my mood, depends on what I'm doing, but yeah.
But you just did something. You just said something, right? You said, like, when you're looking at that box and you go, all right, David Sanborn, that's my influence. Well, who was he gravitating to? Right. That's great thinking right there. That's great thinking because now you're like, okay, I want to know what made him tick in order for him to come up in this day, make me tick. You know what I mean? So that's beautiful. Right
Yeah. You can follow it, man. You can follow it back to, like, literally, if you start with David Sanborn, you end up somewhere in the 17th century.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're not joking, are you?
No, I'm dead.
That's for real.
Dead serious. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to refute or anything like that, but I'm like, wow. Yeah. That's just how deep it is. That's great, though. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. So you're not just only the butcher, baker, and the candlestick maker. You're an entrepreneur.
I do try to. I do try to. I've always been a person that likes to take an opportunity and turn it into to something that can eventually benefit myself and other people down the road. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm very into the idea of generational wealth, and I'm very into the idea of building something. Like your talent, and it kind of comes from my background, but one of my favorite stories and not to get political or religious, but one of my favorite stories in the Bible is David and Goliath, right?
No, that's fine.
So if you ever read the story of David and Goliath, when David's trying to make this big thing happen and fight this huge thing and make something happen for all of his people, and he prayed about it, the first thing God told him is, "What's in your hand?" He looked down and had a sling.
Right, yeah.
He said, so the moral of the story is, what's in your hand? What do you have now? What do you have that you can utilize now in order to attack whatever the goal is? So, and that's kind of the way I think about literally everything like that. That story is a core memory in my head, because that was kind of preached to me growing up was, what do you have now that you can build on? And you may not have everything in line. You may not have all of the ingredients, but what do you have? What's in your hand? So I still preach that to this day to anybody that'll listen that's, a little bit younger than me. What do you have? What can you do? I understand what you can't do. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you don't have, but what can you do?
Oh, I hear that. Baby Brother Entertainment.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about that.
Baby Brothers Entertainment. So that started, I am the youngest of 5. So my brothers and sisters have always referred to me as Baby Bro. And literally until I graduated college, I was such and such's little brother. I never had a name. Like, it was just, my brother was real big athlete in hometown. You know how it is, small town football star. My sister's just Mrs. Popular. She is a social butterfly. She's just that person that people gravitate to. She's got that, so I was such and such's little brother until I was in my mid-20s, probably. So, Baby Brothers Entertainment came from me, again, wanting to build something to give other people a platform. And then that's where the name came from, Baby Brothers Entertainment, because I was like, well, if I'm going to be somebody's little brother, if I'm going to be somebody's baby brother for literally the rest of my life, then that's, and I'm going to use that stamp. And I just stamp Baby Brothers Entertainment on the record label. And I've had enough experience at this point, trial and error, to know what works and what doesn't work. My real talent and my true talent, I feel like, is understanding what people's strengths and weaknesses are. Is looking at a person and saying, I bet I can get you to do this if you try. So if I can help somebody else or just even give them enough information to get them started. Baby Brothers Entertainment was really just that platform for me to try to help other people achieve their dreams and networking and, putting the right people in place. Because that's really 90% of this business is who you know.
It's who you know. That's right. And that's right.
And the other 10% is who knows you. So just putting that together.
So there's a little bit of a team there. You got a little team, a little dichotomy going there.
I do. So publicist, Jamaica Witten, she does all of the A&R stuff and all of the PR stuff, a lot of the image shaping, grafting, amazing. Legal counsel is Joseph Starr, Esquire, young lawyer. He specializes in entertainment law. He's got a private practice here. Myself is kind of jobbing the boat, and then there's some people even under that I just haven't gotten great photos from them yet that I need to put on that website. But we have producers, we have songwriters, people that can really help you establish your vision and get everything kind of going in the right direction. It's a team effort, man. It's a camp. And I feel like we've built a really good team.
That's good. What does the family think about this? Yeah. I had to ask that.
Yeah, that's a deep one. So It's funny you say that. My dad, when I told him I did not get to major in music because he was just like, what are you going to do with that? And his favorite joke was, how you start, how a jazz musician especially, it's like, how you make a millionaire is you give them 2 million. And eventually there'll be a millionaire.
There you go.
And that was his favorite joke. And he used to think that was the funniest thing in the world.
That's a good one.
No, that cat.
You got me choking here.
That cat.
Like swallowing water.
So he was like, no, you're going to go to college and learn some sort of trade, something you can do. But what I did learn while I was there was how to network, how to meet people, and how to not necessarily, and how to be a lead. Being a leader and being a boss are 2 different things.
Right.
So I really kind of don't like when people refer to you as a boss. It's just like, don't call me a boss. That's not what I do. But I can tell you a couple things. I can show you a couple things. And I think my family is cool with the fact that they see and they know me well enough to see kind of where I'm going and why I'm doing it. It's all about the intention. More so than yeah, there's some fun parts. There's some glitz. There's some shiny parts and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I think they know me well enough to know if I get an opportunity, it's to also help in some way, fashion, shape, form to direct somebody else into the right, help them. Maybe they won't spend lose as much money as I did when I first started.
Hey, lessons learned, and then you go on to achieve and whatnot. So hey, look. Derwin or Mr. Friday, you like to be called? Derwin's fine? Friday's fine? Okay, fine. So here's the deal. We're going to go ahead and take a commercial break real quick. Okay. But when we come back, I want to talk to you about, the release, Dirty Mind. We're playing it on Jazz Mix 95. People are feeling it. People are feeling it.
Appreciate it.
Got something going on. So people at home, my people tuned in right now. We'll be back in about, I don't want to say 2 and 2, probably 30 seconds or a minute. Who knows? But we're going to pay the bills real quick, and we're going to come back and talk more with Derwin Friday. Keep it locked in.
Something in our minds will always stay. Perhaps this final act was meant to clinch a lifetime argument. Nothing comes from violence, and nothing ever could. For all those born beneath an angry star.
Yeah, cigars and cognac. You dig?
Welcome back to the conversation. I'm your host, Marquise, and with me today is none other than the saxophonist, songwriter, and national recording artist, Derwin Friday, and with the entrepreneurship too. And I like that about you, man, because I do the same thing. So, hey, Matt, let's get into it. You came to me kind of like, I think it was maybe like out of the blue. You know what I mean? And you sent me a single, which is available on all of the musical platforms right now, which is called Dirty Mind.
Yes, sir.
Playing it on Jazz Mix 95. We're getting a great response to it. We played it on the morning show this morning. People liked it because I put you out there, man. I don't play around. Like, look, Derwin Friday, this. And that's when I had text you, and I was like, here's the link. And so it's so busy in the morning. I mean, it's like a train station in here, People got coffee, donuts. We're trying to, hey, what's up? Let's get this, and stories are coming in. Let's talk about that single, man. Like your current single. What gravitated? Because I'm sure a guy of your talent had other songs that you probably were like, look, maybe this, maybe that. Why this particular song, Dirty Mind?
A couple of things went into that decision to release that one first and to kind of put that one out. So this is my first solo single. And a lot of people might recognize the name Derwin Friday and Baby Brothers Entertainment as my record label from another band called Fifth in York, which is another band another project that I have as well. So my thought process, honestly and truly, was I need to do something to separate myself from the corporate entity of Fifth in York, because that's been a brainchild and kind of my first really big project that I've ever done. But I needed something to kind of step out of there and kind of distinguish myself. And I needed something for people to understand that it was coming just from me, and it was coming just from my perspective, and it was coming from a place of, hey, this is something that I'm doing that's totally different, that's totally separate, and it might not be what you expect. It was that kind of frame of thought. Dirty Mind, out of all of the singles, kind of felt like the one that was honestly and truly, maybe the easiest to digest. Coming up front to be, and that's what I wanted people to do. It was a nice hello. That was what it was. It was a hello. Here I am. It's something smooth. It definitely represents a lot of kind of where I live. Is somewhere between smooth jazz, R&B, and all of those places. So it's a good little mixture of everything that I kind of liked and gravitate towards musically. So it was just the right song for me to introduce the world to myself as a solo artist. And it's provocative. And let's be honest, I like to stir the pot.
And I'm gonna tell you something right now. When I was listening to it, I was like, get a little vibe with this, man.
Yeah.
And you're right about that. So in celebration of his solo debut, a special formulated cologne is now available for purchase. And the name of the cologne is named after the single "Dirty Mind." And we're showing a photo. We're going to put a photo right there. We're gonna put
cool.
a photo
That's
up.
what's up.
Definitely. That's what's up, because, I don't get a lot of cologne because no one really loves me around here. But that's okay. And I saw that and I was like, look, maybe I could talk to my man into purchasing one. And you know what I mean? How did this whole cologne thing come about?
I got you.
You got me? Okay.
So I have, I am very big on, and this is kind of one of the other things that I try to show younger cats that are kind of coming up about is brand recognition, branding, affiliating yourself with positive companies, affiliating yourself with other like-minded individuals that are entrepreneurial. Because in this day and age, you're not just a musician anymore. Being able to play an instrument and entertain people is like your entry fee.
Thank you.
Bottom line, you have to be able, you are a videographer, you are a publicist, you are all these things that you have to be now. So
you feel my pain.
Yeah. So if entrepreneur isn't part of the concept, then what are you going for? Because I tell cats, and I've said it several times, making music and releasing music should not be the end goal. It's not. That's not what your ultimate goal is. Your ultimate goal is to use that as a stepping stone and to build a platform, which will eventually turn into a bigger opportunity. So, so the cologne thing. I have a good friend of mine who I've been working with. I'm actually a spokesperson for his men's accessory line of pocket squares. We started with pocket squares, graduated to neckties and some things like that. So one day we're just kind of shooting the bull, and he had made a couple of colognes and a couple of fragrances and stuff like that. I was like, so when do I get my own signature? When do I get And then we kind of kicked some ideas back and forth. Right. And then when I finally decided Dirty Mind was going to be the single, I called him up and I was like, look, I got this crazy idea, but what do you think about making a cologne called Dirty Mind? Because it's a vibe. At this point, I'm like, it's a vibe. It's a total vibe. So we shot the idea back and forth, came up with the graphics, came up with the smell. I know a lot more about making cologne now than I ever thought I would.
I bet you do.
But he formulated a couple things. We smelled, we tested, we let other people check it out and that kind of thing. We finally came up with something that we really, really liked. And to be honest with you, I kind of thought it was going to be a gimmick kind of a, thing to begin with. It started moving. Like, people really started digging it. I took it out to a couple shows, let people smell it, and make sure the ladies approved or whatever, and make sure my wife smelled it. And my wife is very particular about smells. So like when she smelled it and liked it, I was like, oh, we own something. We own something. So,
it got her seal of approval.
Yeah, when it got her stamp of approval, I was like, okay, so, but yeah, it's just kind of one of those things that I felt like it went hand in hand. It made sense. It made. Because when you think about the song Dirty Mind and sensuality and the neurological part of your brain that infuses all the things that you think about when you think about intimacy, the most underlying factor is your olfactory senses, your sense of smell. Neurologically, your brain attaches smell to sensuality more so than anything else. So to me, it made sense. And that's that nerd part of me coming out. But yeah, so I was like,
that's a cool movement. I mean, the logic behind it, what you're explaining, makes total sense.
Yeah. So they Dirty Mind the fragrance.
Man, I got to catch your entrepreneurial skills, man. That is deep, man. Wow. Definitely deep. You know what else is deep? Let me tell you what else is deep. I read something on your website, and it's going across the screen. I encourage people, like I said, to check out Derwin Friday. The email address, I mean, not the email, but the website address is right there, and follow us as well. But let's do this real quick. Social platforms. You're on all the social platforms. They can follow you, TikTok. I know TikTok, but like Twitter, all that. You might be on TikTok.
So
I don't know.
I am on TikTok.
There you go. On TikTok.
My publicist Jamaica made me get on TikTok. I'm funny about TikTok. I need to do more of it.
You and I both.
That's a younger audience.
It is.
And then there's some tech stuff in their stuff that I'm not too happy about either. That's a whole nother. Not staying away from politics, but I'm just like, you want access to my what?
Yeah.
It's just a weird. It's a weird platform. But anyway,
that's why I'd leave my daughter to that. You go play with that. There you go. I got whatever.
Right. Because it's
so
just
crazy.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know if I want TikTok and my banking on the same machine. Like it's just that it makes sense.
But Instagram, Facebook, and all that, we got you there.
Stuff. Yeah, everything else. Yeah, I'm pretty much everywhere I can be just to kind of spread the love as much as possible. So yeah, definitely check me out.
Yo, this is deep right here. This is deep. I read it on your bio. Okay. You sent it to me. I was like, saw the writing, and I was like, let me check my man out here to see if he's like really being where he wants to be. His thought process is. And I came up and this is what it says. It's off the bio. People go to it, check it out. You can see I'm telling the truth. And it says, I feel that music in general is nothing more than an extension of our hearts and souls. It gives us a way to assimilate and understand the human experience, as well as the many nuances that comes with it. Being able to express those experiences and emotions musically is a way to not only relate to other humans, but to hopefully it gives others something to relate their human experience to as well. That's deep, man.
Appreciate it.
That bridge, that whole bridge, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's right there. That's deep.
Right.
What was the motivation behind that? You just having a moment to be like, look, I got to get deeper. It just, or did this spontaneously just come to you and be like, yo, hit me?
So yeah, wow. The thought process behind that. So I've always understood the power of music.
Yes.
And during my education, I'm a social worker by trade. I'm working, and so just understanding kind of the psychology of music, and kind of what makes music. People may not believe me. This is a scientifically proven fact. I can say something to you and you will disagree, but if I sing it to you, you are 10 times as likely to receive that message. So I feel like music bypasses a whole lot of your prejudices, because if you like the music, you will listen to the message. If the music touches you first, then it's a way for us to relate to each other. Two people cannot like each other, but those same two people can like the same song. So in my thought process is, if I can give a room full of 100 people a great experience and make them forget about whatever's going on outside for a minute or whatever, those 100 people now have a connection. Those 100, they have a shared experience. They have if 1,000 people listen to the same song and they all like the same song, we may not have anything else to talk about. We can be right wing, left wing, religious, not religious, whatever. But hey, did you hear that track?
Yeah.
Like that track, right? That's a good track. So that's where kind of one of the main places where my thought process for even writing comes from. But my love for music definitely comes from that place.
That's deep, man, what you just said. So you got two people that don't necessarily like each other, but they love the same song.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. No, I'm sure I've broken bread many a times with cats that wouldn't necessarily talk to me, but because we like the same song, we can talk.
Right. That's deep, man. You just like hit the cerebral cortex with that one, for real. I'm serious. That is deep, man, because when you think about the philosophy, and you were like saying right wing, left wing, they could even be, chicken wing, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, look, but we do like the same song. You know what I mean? And everybody's dancing and stuff. I get it. Like, how come we could dance to the same song, but you and I can't like each other?
Right.
That's deep, man. You went like... That's like some serious philosophy right there. That's heavy. I'm serious, man. I'm using 70s terms, but that is for real. And I appreciate you bringing that out, man, because we've always talked about things like all the events that happened throughout the year. George Floyd, everything last year. Like, African-American men being killed by police and everything like that.
Right,
We look at all that, and then we have to like really dig in and like just make sure it doesn't go away as a Twitter rant, and then we move on with our lives.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Get in there, find out. But I like the way you had said that and you presented that. And it's deep. In young children, they're not taught. They're not.
Right.
They're not born with prejudices.
Right.
Taught that. You know.
You're taught that. Right.
And so that's the main thing that we always talk about, like, always be good to one another. And that's one of our messages on our radio show, like, be kind to one another. You never know someone else's help and stuff and whole nine.
Right.
It works the same way as an advocate of being part of the military. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't like each other, redneck, word and all that stuff. But because I was in the Navy, and then all of a sudden I'm going down the road, I may see somebody with a Navy sticker on their car. They got a flat tire. And then on the other side, he may not like African-American people, but it's like, because we were Navy, we helped each other out.
Right. It's a bond. Right. It's a shared experience.
And then now that we helped you out, now we could go back to hating each other. That's I always thought that was so crazy. I thought that was
crazy.
So lame and crazy.
It's crazy.
What's next for you, man? What's next? Because Dirty, you got me. Dirty, see, you may have done something, man, with the cologne and the single.
I hope so.
Yeah.
The next thing, and it's just kind of the way the industry is now is, we'll probably drop a couple more singles. Some of them will be, this one was a national radio campaign. So we went to all of the big major radio stations and all of that kind of stuff and asked them to play our song. We did some ring kissing and all of that kind of stuff because that's just part of the gig. You gotta kind of ask the gatekeepers if they'll play your music and that kind of thing. A lot of them said no. I can
understand. Well, I'm not going to say I understand why, but working for record companies.
Yeah, a lot of them said no.
Yeah,
but we expected that. But it always reminds me when I get a no or rejection from a radio station or something like that. It always reminds me of there's this one line in the Pirates of the Caribbean, where Jack Sparrow is like, he's doing this crazy thing and being Jack Sparrow, and these guys are like, he must be the worst pirate I've ever heard of, and he looks at him and says, "But you have heard of me."
I remember that. That is
my
yeah.
favorite line. So the next steps are, I think, I'll continue to make music and I've got a couple things, like I said, I got a couple things coming down the pipe that we're going to release, and hopefully people will dig it. But I think the burden on the artist is to make art.
Yes.
It's up to, call it whomever or whatever, powers of the universe, God, fortune, fate,
right,
if it takes off or not. I think people put too much pressure on themselves a lot of times.
Yep.
Because they let perfection get in the way of progress. And it's just like, do I think I'm the greatest, latest thing ever? No, but I do have an idea that nobody else has come up with. And that's my job, is to get it out there.
You know what? You're right about that. You do, because what you're doing right now, and that's the whole thing about being different. And just don't go to soda and twist the same cap, like twist a different cap off, and go ahead and reach high. And what I love about what you just said, and my whole thing is, like, when I was with record companies, I used to tell artists all the time, don't worry about anybody else.
Right.
Run your own race. You run your own race. You ain't got to worry about that, man. But a lot of artists today are too busy, like, who's on my shoulder, and don't even look back. Just run your own race.
Right.
What was the other saying? Put your head to the grindstone and your nose to the ground, and just go. And that's it. So, hey, man, you know what? They may now have you back as far as playing your music, but you can come to jazzmix95.com anytime, brother.
I appreciate it.
Like that one line from the movie. My man says, you might get this. He says, we're a small organization, but we have room for aggressive expansion. You know where that's from, right?
That was not ringing a bell.
I'll give it to you.
Shoot. Which one?
That was the Joker in The Dark Knight.
Oh,
Dark Knight.
yes.
For aggressive expansion. And so we got your back, man, because we realize and we work with a lot of independent artists, man. And that's what we're here for. We're here to be that springboard for you guys, man. You know,
hey, and it's much appreciated. It's much appreciated. In a room full of blind people, it's somebody that's got one eye is just like, it's amazing to run into one person that can see. Whether it be potential, whether it be whatever it is, man, it's a breath of fresh air to talk to somebody that's like, I understand, been there, done that. I get where you're trying to go. Let me help you.
Yeah, that's it.
Totally different.
That's it. That's all it is, man.
Man, that's huge. You have no idea.
There's no $39.95 fee, but wait, there's more. We don't do that. We just help you out. Right. You know what I'm saying? We love
that part. That part. Everybody got their hand out.
Exactly. Hey, man, you got to come back when you release other music.
Absolutely. Anytime. You let me know when, Doc. I'm there.
All righty, man. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, give it up for Derwin Friday here.
Thank you.
And, like I said, come on back and when you get a chance, more music. We're here for you. Absolutely. Most definitely. Hey, that's going to do it this week for the conversation on Jazz Mix 95, Roku TV. Guys, go out there. Check out our website at www.jazzmix95.com. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, and also Derwin Friday. You see the website down there. Go check him out and go check out his music on all the musical platforms. Hey, we're going to see you next time. Keep spreading the love. God bless you all. And we'll see you next time on The Conversation.